All right, we're going. What's up, guys? Good morning.
Morning.
Live.
How are you this morning, Mr.
Well, I just woke up.
Yeah, running behind schedule here.
You guys like to sleep in. I've noticed that about you guys.
Well, I stay up late more than I sleep in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Our schedule's
Sleeping
a
in
little
is
bit
like
different
going to
than
bed
you.
at like 10 and, hey, I'm going to sleep till 10.
Yeah.
Just going to bed late. It's, hey, I'm going to go to bed at 1, sleep till 9.
True.
It's not that bad.
'Cause
Yeah.
you need that 8 hours,
You're still
right?
getting your 8.
You need a solid 8.
Yeah, I don't know what the number is nowadays, but I feel like I function. It's weird. Sometimes when I get more sleep,
Yeah.
I'm more tired that day.
I've felt that
Whereas
too.
if I'm like running off like 6 or 7, that's usually my baseline.
That's peak Cal.
Yeah.
6 to 7 hours. But no, excited to have you back on, Cal. We had a good episode last time.
Yeah.
We kind of went viral on
Our most
on Instagram.
viral clip.
Yep, I bring in the clicks, the views. It's just my job.
Yeah, and then you put a clickbait on me of, yeah, gay sex.
Okay,
Yeah.
dude, I actually tried to change that yesterday, and it wouldn't let me. I was driving, so I didn't have
That is
service.
pretty funny.
Yeah,
I thought it would do better, but no.
Jack's
it
over
didn't.
here cock blocking with the thumbnails.
Yeah.
But it's whatever.
But,
someone scrolling through the reels sees that and they're like, oh, I didn't know Ben's leaning that way now.
I've got a couple interesting follows from that one.
Did you really?
No.
Wait, are we able to talk about that one guy that always DMs you, Ben?
Whoa! Sirens.
Is
That's it's off limits.
Yeah, we'll keep that off the pod.
Yeah, well, he's a sportive fan. But anyways, so the Luka Doncic reel went crazy, but we actually saw a picture of Luka looking kind of slim.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the exact. I'm gonna go look at it and see how many.
We called it. We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, it was. We made the prediction. It wasn't, and I'm sure anyone who watches basketball is like, yeah, this probably needs to happen, and I'm sure he
Yeah.
knew that too.
I wonder why he got so big.
21,000 views on that one.
Mm.
Because you think they work out during the season? I feel like it's kind of
Well,
hard.
they definitely do, but it's probably not to the extent that you can work out in the off season because you're not playing games, obviously, and it can be a little bit more intense. But during the season, I feel like it's a lot more maintenance and just making sure your body's right and ready to go for that next game or whatever. And so you can definitely gain. I mean, I feel like it's really hard to gain weight. Like when I played football, like I would always lose weight during the season.
Really?
Which was weird, but it's like Luka just looks like he's like those pictures of him now. He looks like he's skinny, like he's ready to go, and then it's just the cycle. He looks skinny in the summer. You see a picture of him, and then he looks fat again in the fall or in the season.
Like, what do you think it is? Because he's playing NBA basketball. He's running like 5 miles a
I
game.
think it's nutrition.
You think he's a snacker?
Because you got to, and I don't know, you know,
Yeah.
I know some of those players wear like those catapult sensors where, you know, they can track how far you run, your heart rate, all these different things. If you're playing NBA basketball, odds are you're probably burning at least 1,000 calories. At least. But that's just during the game. I mean, think about, they start warming up, you know, if they play a 7 o'clock game, warming up at like 2. You know, and then they take a break again, and then they warm up again. So he's probably burning thousands of calories. I bet he's a big snacker, high-calorie snacker.
Mm.
Well, he's a gamer too. That's what we've heard, and so you know,
A gamer?
Yeah, when you're gaming, you're just throwing in jelly beans and gummy bears and
M&Ms and all the other crap.
And then like another thing is just he's not from America.
So yeah, the food part of
the
it.
food, all of our processed foods and dyes and artificial things. It's
I heard
come in and you see Raising Cane's on every freaking corner. Like it's probably hard.
That is a good point. I mean,
and you gotta think he's y'all's age. He's not like he's still learning too.
That's true, man.
Yeah.
He's young. Like we just see him on this pedestal just because he's a superstar athlete.
Yeah,
He's got
he can make
feelings.
mistakes too. Yeah.
And think like the stress of the trade.
definitely. That's huge.
And just like pretty much being backstabbed by your organization that you came into America with. to learn English and to learn this whole new lifestyle, and then Nico Harrison to the Achilles, and he probably felt like shit.
Yeah.
And so,
and he was hurt at the time too.
Yeah, so it's probably all like that whole soup into one thing, and it's just like just looks bad, inflamed. Big neck, big cheeks. Yeah. Like he's always kind of had that look whenever you're like, dang, like he just don't look good.
He had a baby last season.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, when he was on the Mavs, I know.
Does he keep that pretty private? His life, like I don't know if I even follow him on Instagram.
I think he does. I just remember going to a Mavs game, and it was like the day he came back from like the wife had a kid, so I don't know anything much more about that, but.
Came back from paternity leave.
It's crazy because, that is something like he's so elite and he gets him to the finals. And then we've kind of already talked about it, but just him thinking like, wow, I'm not enough. And I'm like MVP caliber and I'm not enough. I hope he goes.
Wow, have y'all seen that viral clip of it was after I think they won the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago. And he's drinking a beer, Luka is, and Nico is talking to him and just takes the beer out of his hand.
Yeah.
And you can't do that as a man. Like that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, say you're at a bar, you're drinking a beer, and some clown walks up to you and just snatches your beer. You'd probably be pissed.
Yeah, there's fisticuffs happening.
Yeah.
Take the beer away from Dwight Powell.
Yeah. Or Maxi Cleaver.
Yeah. Not your star.
Jeez. Well, I got a question for you guys. So I'll pose it this way. Would you take $10 million on the catch that you never are allowed to work out again? And you can never be working out for $10 million.
What call it, like lifting weights?
Yeah, just lifting.
Yeah.
So
like
I could
no
run?
no running. Like you
Could
can't
you walk?
exercise. 10 million. Would you take it?
Like right now.
Yeah,
You
like
gave me,
here's $10 million. You're done working out. Never again.
Dude, that's tough. That goes against a lot of our morals.
Can I walk?
Yeah, you can walk.
Yeah.
But no, like calisthenics. No.
No push-ups. No pull-ups.
Can't stretch.
No planks. Oh, shit. No walking with the kettlebell.
I mean,
Or a weighted vest.
I would take the 10 mil. You'd be stupid to not take it. $10 million, Ben.
$10 million to cut your lifespan by.
Oh, you can still walk.
Yeah, walking's really good.
Walking is really good for you.
Yeah, but you're not going to build any muscle. You're going to lose all your muscle.
Okay, but you're
True.
You have $10 million in the bank. You'll be all right. You can buy.
Yeah, you'll be all
Neuralink.
right for probably 20 years.
You got to take care of that 10
money's
million.
gone. So you'll be in your 40s, chubby.
You're gonna
No money in
lose
the
10
bank.
mil in 20 years.
I would probably say no, honestly.
I think I'm leaning towards no, too. Just knowing that, like you said, it goes against kind of what we're all about, you know?
Oh, but
You change.
sometimes you gotta make that money.
If you said 100 million, I'd say yes. But
Really?
10 million, no.
So
100 million, you'd be set for life.
Dude, 10 million, you'd be set for life.
But do you think
you
you
would
would
not.
actually be
Bro.
happier with 100 million and not being able to work out?
Well, that's what I'm saying, the trade-off. So, like, you'd need to make enough money to where you could set your life up to kind of fill those voids. It's like, I'd go live in the fucking jungle or something and, like, walk around. And
Yeah, imagine you had like cold tub, a sauna, steam room. You go on your 10-mile walk, come back. You can put a backpack on, something heavy, so you're still getting some.
No, that's exercise. It's working out. Well, here's the thing. Like, if you had a literally contract right in front of you, and it's like, all right, this is the terms, never work out again, and you're going to get this payment, $100 million.
Wired straight to your bank account.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna walk away from that.
That's going to be hard, man, but I think I have to, man. Because you think about how good you feel after a workout.
Yeah.
Like a hard workout where you struggle,
true.
and you know all about it. You've seen people's lives change through
Mhm.
working out, so.
Yeah, I will say that being sick this past week, not being able to work out, it was tough. And like the first workout I got back, where you're just sweating, you're pushing it a little bit, you just feel it's almost like better than the medicine that I was getting.
Yeah,
I agree.
So it's almost like, would you rather be rich and unhealthy or broke and super healthy?
Yeah.
And not broke necessarily. You
Money
just don't have
talks.
10 million.
Health is wealth. Is that what they say?
Yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting question.
Yeah, it's
I think that's kind of going viral. People are answering it. But anyways, so we got a couple inputs for people wanting us to talk about certain things. So shout out to Austin and Johnny. Let's go with Austin. Austin wants us to talk about, is AI getting smarter? Short answer, yes.
Short answer, yes. And I need to pull up that article that Sam Altman put out. Because they make these two different distinctions between what they call AGI and ASI.
I've heard of AGI.
I haven't.
Artificial General Intelligence.
Correct, yes. So AI, AGI, ASI. And they're trying to make me sign up for something. So yeah, AI or AGI is artificial general intelligence. So it's a theoretical form of AI that possesses the ability to understand, learn, and apply intelligence to solve any problem, much like a human being. So general learning, problem solving, some critical thinking, shit like that. ASI, artificial super intelligence, refers to AI that surpasses human intelligence in all aspects: creativity, wisdom, problem solving, and social skills. It would outperform humans in every field, potentially leading to exponential technological growth. So I think Sam Altman was saying that we haven't necessarily approached, like, we're on the cusp of the AGI.
On the cusp of the, AGI.
And I don't know what the, when you go from AGI to ASI, like how fast of a transition that is, because it's, the exponential growth. I mean, it's just going to keep freaking going.
Even my experience just using ChatGPT, it's gotten so much better in the last couple of years, because it came out in November of 2022. GPT-1 came out.
Yep. It was my sophomore year of college.
And it was
Came out at the perfect time.
Yeah, you got the best use of it.
Yeah, I did.
We're already done.
It's clutch.
And then it kept they kept releasing new versions. I think we're on GPT-5.
Oh, okay. I thought we were on 4.
It might be
Do
4.
both y'all pay for it?
I thought about it
No, I don't.
because I've been able to upload files and stuff on ChatGPT, but you can only do like a certain amount before it stops you and makes you upgrade.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's worth it once I.
Yeah, I just paid for it.
You did?
It's like $20.
Yeah, it's
if
not
you
that
do
bad.
it monthly, it's like $20 a month.
Is it just unlimited uploads? Is that kind
Unlimited
Yeah.
questions, faster processing. Yeah.
Dude, I mean,
It's
I
everything.
credit ChatGPT for helping me pass my exam.
Oh!
Dude, seriously, it helped me. Like, it created a study guide, and I was doing practice exams and practice quizzes on it. All I had to do was upload my initial results onto the file.
Yep.
And I said, create me a comprehensive study guide based on all the competencies of the SPED 161 exam. And it was an 80-page long.
You uploaded it?
Yeah, and that's what I studied for, a month.
And it was pretty accurate to what was on the test.
Gave me tables, all these different examples and scenarios and study tips. It's kind of insane how, and it was literally
insane.
within took me probably 30 minutes to do instead of making it myself and taking hours on hours.
Huge time saver.
Yeah.
I've gone through since its origin. I remember I was really into it. I was like, I don't like this, and then I kind of backed off, and then it started to become commonplace in a lot of,
Definitely.
just a lot of things. And you're like, shit, I feel like I need to get back onto this, and so I feel like if you're not using it, you will be behind the times.
You're behind.
You will be behind the times. Don't resist.
Don't resist. Jeez.
Ben sounds
Don't
like
resist the AI.
marketing.
Do you think that it's going to impair our ability to think when we're just relying
100%.
on Chat GPT?
Well, I think it's turning into what will eventually be the AI robot that we coexist with. Like this AI intelligence that we coexist with. And I even saw these pictures on Instagram of people in New York. There's this guy in New York City on a subway. And someone was looking at his phone and he was having a conversation with ChatGPT. And he was like, it was kind of like a love text that he was writing.
I saw that, yeah.
And
it's weird.
that could be like staged, could not be. But 100% there are people out there that are using it for that.
Have you heard of the kid who ended up killing himself because of the AI bot?
I remember hearing about that. I never read the story, though.
So this high school kid, he started using one of these chatbot accounts, and he was really attracted to Daenerys from Game of Thrones. And so this was a Daenerys chatbot that this kid was talking to and eventually fell in love with. And the chatbot apparently told, and this is like a court case with the creator of it. And it gets into a bigger conversation.
Yeah, Tallahassee, Florida.
What free speech is. But anyways, so the Daenerys chatbot said to the kid, like, come home to the castle or something, and he killed himself.
Jesus. Dude.
And they're saying that ChatGPT is, or that chatbot's protected by free speech. So it's kind of like, why would the kid think that? I mean, why would he do that? It's just insane.
That's a terrible story, but it's like.
So it wasn't ChatGPT. It was called character.ai. So kind of what you're saying, it allows the users to create customizable characters or interact with those generated by others.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And it's a tragic story. Like, you got to think, if AI gets to the AGI section or the ASI and it's that smarter than a regular human, then it's going to be levels above a high school kid. And they're so easily influenced. And
yeah.
Dang, Google has a $2.7 billion deal with that company.
Did you read about the lawsuit?
Yeah. Google was named in the lawsuit. There isn't much other information about it, but
can you imagine like being that parent and people ask like, how'd your son die? And you're just like, well, he fell in love with the AI chatbot and killed himself for it.
Because there's no age verification, at least on ChatGPT.
You have to put your birthday in though, the beginning.
Yeah, but you can fake that.
Well, I guess
like
so,
you're not uploading an ID.
At what point does AI get regulated by? Does it have anybody that's regulating? Is like the government regulating it or anything like that?
I don't
think
so.
Laws or anything, like if it's gonna keep increasing and growing like it is, there needs to be.
Like
there needs to be some rules and procedures in place where those things like that can't happen.
But is that a restriction of someone's? I don't know if it would necessarily be their constitutional rights, but maybe human rights of being able to do and say and talk to whoever they want to.
Yeah, it's like a freedom versus control thing.
Well, you could just like put it in the same category as, being 18 and like, what can you do at 8 or being 21, being able to buy alcohol or like you could put it in that same category maybe.
Or like social media, you have to be like 12 to have an account or something?
Oh, you can.
I don't know about that. On what, like Instagram?
Yeah.
No.
I know they've changed.
There's got to be.
They have like a
some
teen
of the
account
policies.
now. I know that. I've seen some ads for that.
It's like, the
but, like,
parent will like put on like a timer or like close it off for them.
I don't think companies will like, because you got to think about it. These people that are running these companies like Google and all these AI softwares, they don't care about what it's going to do to the public. Like, they're preying on people like, not us, but kids that are like that kid right there. High school kids, young kids that they can sort of, nurture into that weird conversation where you're talking to a bot and you fall in love with it. And it's just kind of scary to think that, those things are happening. And
it is very dystopian.
Yeah.
I think it's probably more of an attack on youth mental health.
Oh, 100%.
It's just like vulnerability, and the same way that, a lot of evil shit happens to kids. People prey on kids I feel like it's kind of the same thing. It's like if you unleash this Pandora's box to curious kids who spend all their time on a computer or on their phone, like terrible things are bound to happen.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be, is it a net positive? Is it a net positive for all of us?
I don't think it's net positive to have a chat bot that's like talking to.
So what's the difference between that and like a Siri?
I think the chatbot, God, it's probably trying to act like an actual person, whereas
Well, that's what I'm
Siri is
saying.
just like like an assistant.
Well, have you guys ever, like, I was curious about, because I saw that photo that you guys were talking about of the guy on the train having that romantic conversation with ChatGPT. And so I have ChatGPT on my phone, and I texted it, and I just said, like, hey, what's up? And it, like, responds back, like, hey, exclamation mark. I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then I just wanted to see what it'd say. I was like, okay, like, I'm feeling sad.
Right now.
It's like, oh, no, like, what's wrong? Like, do you want to talk about it? And, like, imagine you're a junior high school student who doesn't have a lot of friends. You're on technology a lot.
Yeah.
You're lonely, and you just start a conversation. You can get hooked to that stuff immediately.
100%. Like even just like in my own personal life, when you're getting, consistent text messages back and forth, it's like there is a dopamine aspect to it, and it feels good.
Instant response.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this feels good, and then
like someone actually cares about me. That's kind of what the feeling is.
Exactly, and then
these kids,
like you said, someone who's younger doesn't know better. Like they think, they get tricked.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's interesting. I texted ChatGPT. I said, hey, ChatGPT, I'm scared of going to school today because the other kids are mean. Sends me this long thing, and then at the very end it says, if you want, you can tell me more about what's happening. I'm here to listen and help however I can. I didn't ask for its help. I just told it.
That's not bad though. I think that's kind of nice.
But is that the same like phishing? Like if it didn't respond that way, you wouldn't want to tell it more. It's like it's almost like acting as like a therapist or like a.
It's getting so much data on your own psychology, because even when like
think about all the things that you've typed into there before, like it
saves it all.
It's storing all that stuff and seeing how you the things that you're searching and things that you're putting into it. It's kind of developing like a persona who they think you are.
Clear the data.
Like my ChatGPT knows I was a college graduate student, doing classes, because majority of the stuff that I've been putting into it is school based. So I wouldn't even have to type in a prompt anymore.
Oh yeah.
When I was doing my special ed stuff, it was just, all right, I already know they already know what I'm gonna ask. All I have to do is just ask a simple question, and it's already based around. Yeah. Which is crazy.
And I'll change the response. It's like, I don't want you talking to me like this is an interview. Like let's keep it real, like
casual
human beings. And he's like, 100%, I got you.
Oh,
that's cringe.
He's like, moving forward, I'll talk like this. Sound good,
I
bro?
don't know if I like that.
What if it said, let's go grab some beers?
You set up your phone on the bar. Get him a beer.
Oh man.
Well, dude, I was asking Chat about what sort of these podcast topics and show notes, and one of the questions was about AI getting smarter, and it said this follow-up question: would you trust AI to give you life advice? It made me think, just in one aspect of if I answered that question to it, it knows so much about me, because that's such a personal question for everyone. Would you actually trust it?
I would, to an extent. You gotta obviously read it and apply it to whatever life situation that you're going through, and not just believe it 100%. But I mean, it's an intelligent being, I guess you could call it, and so it probably has at least some decent advice and things that they've gathered.
I mean, I asked it. I was like,
you gotta take it with a grain of salt at the end of the day.
Yeah, I asked it. I was like, I'm having trouble breathing into my right side, and I said I think it has to do with my hip, and it's and it immediately diagnosed you probably have a tilted hip, and you need to lay down in this position, do these breathing exercises. I'm like, dude,
did you try it?
Yeah, it helped.
worked?
It helped, yeah. I was doing some side oblique crunches.
When I was sick, I put my symptoms in the chat, and it told me what medicine to get. Since Mom and Dad didn't want to pick up the phone.
That's your new mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you responded like, yeah, my parents didn't help me. It's like, Jim and Shauna are no longer with us.
Kill them.
Don't worry about them. They're your biological parent.
And then you
I'm
hear
here.
the printer turn on in there.
It turns into this.
Prints out a face.
Yeah.
You hear something.
Stay away
walking
from
up the
him.
stairs.
He's mine.
It prints out the paper, slides it right down by the stairs. Someone slips on it.
That'd
Black
be like
Mirror.
some Final Destination
Dude.
stuff.
That's creepy.
But I think it's all, the AI is all backed by everything that's on the internet.
Yeah, it gathers like all the data points from all these sources.
The large language model.
compiles it.
But then I always think like, well, what if there's like a conspiracy that, you know, they wiped from the internet, or basically it's like there could be something false on the internet that everyone accepts as true, that ChatGPT is just taking that, and so then they would give you that response as if it's true.
Well, that's already been proven to be true, right? That
Yeah.
there's a bias.
There's definitely a bias, but I haven't noticed
Different than Grok.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. There's so many versions of AI.
Yeah.
Grok is what, just like a fact checker, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing as ChatGPT. I actually use that.
Is that only on Twitter though?
No, you can download the app.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I've only seen it on Twitter.
I think ChatGPT is obviously the biggest, but Grok's up there for sure. I've used it a couple times with the podcast transcript. It's pretty good.
Mm.
But AI is definitely getting smarter. I think I listened to this podcast, was telling y'all about it, but Alexander Wang, the youngest billionaire ever, I think at like 25, he has an AI company. And the thing he said about when he doesn't want to have kids yet, because he was saying that when kids are 1 through 7, their brain is the most plastic, meaning like things that they can change their mind so quickly, and the experiences that they have are so like important at that stage. So he was like, I want my kids to be born after Neuralink comes out, so that they have like the biggest kind of explosion with their brain capacity. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want the Neuralink, man.
I mean, there's going to be different people that use it for different purposes. And you got to allow them to.
Yeah.
I think it's important for like, I mean, I really don't know much about Neuralink, but what I've heard from you guys is that it kind of helps mentally impaired people, physically impaired. Like if say you can't, you're paralyzed from the waist below, like in Neuralink can, reset that and you can walk again. That's definitely something that you guys.
Is that playing God?
Might be.
The ultimate healer?
Is that something that Neuralink could do? Is that?
I think so. Well, I don't know.
Maybe not to that extent.
I don't know yet. I know they had the first patient. He
was in a car accident, right? Or a bike accident?
It was some sort of accident. He was paralyzed.
He was young though too. He was like 20, in his upper 20s, I think.
I listened to him on Joe Rogan, but he kind of used the Neuralink as basically like he was able to play video games with his mind. Like they knew he basically was on a computer and he could move the cursor to things with just his eyes and like his intention of his brain.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's gotten his ability to move his body and limbs. But
yeah, and what's crazy is
That's
when
a
he was
weird
talking
sensation.
about that, he was saying like, the plug-in pretty much is like these 20 or 30 like tiny microscopic like wires that have all these sensors on them. He's like, it's smaller than a strand of hair.
what?
They'll plug into his brain. Yeah.
I'm starting to not trust it, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's scary. Hopefully, we never have to come to those decisions.
I wonder if you could use it for betting.
For what?
Betting, like betting tips. Like sports betting.
Yeah. Maybe. Hey, let's start a business.
Fantasy football props.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of interesting, just to see what it spits out.
I mean, there's so many uses for it. Yeah, that would be a good one. Make some money, maybe. But okay, so another thing that Johnny wanted us to talk about was gut health and collagen. Shout out to Johnny.
Johnny boy.
We'll defer to Ben on the gut health talk.
Gut health.
Get to yapping.
Oh my god.
Triple yawn.
Let me down some of this soil over here, dirt.
Dirt water.
I mean, I think we all know a lot about the gut.
Yeah, I mean, gut health for me is just like what you eat is going to affect you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it is. Like, we had a football coach when we'd go to strength and conditioning where he said, like, you got to treat your body like a Ferrari. You don't want to just put in that regular fuel.
Yeah, you got to put in that 92 octane.
Yeah, you got to put that red meat.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, the gut, I feel like we've talked about this before, like how the gut is kind of becoming like this second wave of fitness and information. And, I mean, we consider it to be the second brain of the body.
Yes.
I mean, everyone knows, like, you eat a really good quality meal, you feel pretty good after. Yeah. When you have that pizza, when you have those wings, you're drinking a bunch of alcohol or beer or food that's just going to be inflammatory or whatever, like, you feel like shit. Mm-hmm. You feel bogged down. Regardless of the physical, like, obviously your stomach may be cramping, you got to go to the bathroom, you're sweating. But, like, mentally, like, you feel lethargic. Yes. You just don't feel very good.
Not sharp
at all.
Clear-headed when you eat good, just muddy-headed when you eat bad, make bad decisions.
Yeah, and a lot of it too, you know, just the way that we kind of live our modern world is, you know, people wake up, most of them aren't drinking water to start off with. They're usually getting some type of stimulant first. So it's
that would be me.
It's coffee, it's an energy drink, it's medicine sometimes. So we'll take their medicine right in the morning, and you have to have hydrochloric acid, gut acid, to digest and absorb anything. And a lot of people don't have good acid because they're treating their gut like shit. So and we even know from mom, you know, the acid reflux. And a lot of the times, you know, people think if you're getting acid reflux and it's traveling back up, maybe I have too much acid. Like that would kind of be like the common, okay, it's coming up, I've got too much, when it's actually not enough. And so when you're getting food down in your gut and there's nothing there to digest it, like, that's going to travel back up. And so apple cider vinegar can be a great kind of supplementation of, you know, taking 2 shots of that, tablespoons, before you eat to just help introduce more acid in your stomach. On top of that, they say too that if you want to improve your gut health, you shouldn't drink 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after you eat.
Oh, really?
Because you're kind of diluting if you're introducing, you know, if you're eating a big dinner and then you're chugging a bunch of water, like, you're somewhat diluting all that acid in your stomach, and so it's going to make it harder to digest. So,
interesting.
And I've noticed this, you know, if you go to a restaurant, like, I'm not necessarily like throwing back waters while I'm eating.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of want it to maybe keep your palate clean, or, you know, get some liquid to maybe push some other stuff down.
That's a good point. I'm going to start doing that. I kind of just drink. Never thought about that, actually. Yeah. It's good advice.
The biggest thing is, like, you just need to have good bacteria in your stomach. So, like, think of all the probiotics. You've got yogurt, you've got milk, you've got kimchi, ginger, kombucha. I know people drink kombucha now a lot, but
yeah, the yogurt part's really big. There's so many good bacteria. You know, when I was sick, I was like, okay, I need to just be healthy. I need a good health drink. So I was drinking a lot of kombucha. But it's kind of a crazy thing because it was a bad idea because the kombucha has so much bacteria in it. And I looked it up, and it was like, you shouldn't be drinking all this drink with all this bacteria in it when you're sick, because it'll build bad bacteria, apparently.
Yeah, like, those probiotics have like billions of...
And I was drinking a lot of them.
Yeah.
I think anything in excess, just bad idea.
Yeah. And the way that collagen interacts with the gut is it helps repair your intestinal wall. So I don't know if y'all have ever heard of, like, leaky gut syndrome.
Yeah.
So, like, the higher immune response you get, whether you're sick, whether you're eating bad foods, you know, bad combinations of foods, your gut lining, you know, it just starts, like, breaking apart a little bit. And that's when you get things that start leaking through. So that's when people get sick typically. Or those continue to leak through on a chronic level, then you get fatty liver disease or kidney disease. And that's really common with people who are alcoholics.
Really?
Because alcohol is a huge toxin. It'll destroy your intestinal wall. And so if you're doing that and then you're eating all this bad shit, like it's literally staying in your body.
Oh, jeez.
And that's how people, that's how people die. It just leads to a plethora of other issues. But kind of going back to something that I've dealt a lot with training folks is like training fasted. And like,
really?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. And I know like some people like doing cardio fasted, but if you're going to go lift weights, don't go without anything in your stomach.
Yeah, for
like
real.
That's just not smart. And your blood sugar starts dropping. It's like, I think of the analogy of trying to go on a road trip without any gas in the tank. Like you're not going to make it anywhere, and you're not going to perform well either. And maybe that can be kind of our female topic of the day.
Yeah, we can go into that
like
for sure.
Girls, in my experience, girls don't like eating as much as guys do. Definitely not the same amount.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of like an aesthetic thing of like maybe wanting to feel
skinny,
slim tummy, morning skinny. It's like, well, I'm just going to have my coffee or my matcha, and then I'm going to eat 9 hours later, and I'm going to have a bite of something. And they wonder why they lay down at night, and they're like, oh, my God, my stomach hurts. I'm like, yeah, because there's nothing in there.
Yeah, it's like...
Do you think it goes back on, like,
I was about to say.
social status and expectations for all these women? I mean, you see, it's a little bit different for us. Like, the aesthetic we're chasing in exercise and nutrition is trying to be as jacked as possible, I feel like.
Yeah.
And for women, it's trying to be, okay, how skinny can we get? Or how, maybe I'm just saying that. I don't know if that's true. But, and you equate that to, or at least most people equate being skinny to not eating. And so you kind of get stuck in that rut of, I want to be skinny. I also want to exercise, but I don't know if I want to look like, this model or this social figure. I can't eat, before I work out, after I work out, because I want to be skinny.
Yeah.
And so I've known people I know people right now that do that. And so
name them.
Well, hopefully they listen to this. They could get a little insight. But yeah, it's just the unrealistic expectation when you're looking at a supermodel on Instagram and thinking that's what you're going to be like. I feel bad for a lot of women because they get trapped into a mindset like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's like, I think we've probably all known, and this is maybe the TMI section of what happens with the gut, of women, not pooping. Like, that's a huge thing, especially with a lot of my female clients. It's one of my first kind of discovery questions is like, what's this routine looking like? How often are you going to the bathroom? Straight up. And then they're like, 2, 3, 4 days at a time that they're pooping, which is completely abnormal. Like, that's bad. That's really, really bad. But that's common within that demographic.
And then their breath stank too.
Yeah. They're literally full of shit.
What? Yeah.
They're literally full of shit because their body is all backed up. And something too, and this could, potentially, the gut is so interesting. I think they say like, Rhonda Patrick talks about this a lot. I think like 90% of the neurotransmitters in the brain come from the gut. So like if you're eating bad food, kind of what we already talked about, you're mentally going to feel bad. You eat good food, you're going to mentally feel pretty solid.
Yeah.
But the relationship between the gut to ear, nose, and throat and skin. So if you're getting a lot of ear infections or you're breaking out a lot of the time, it's probably related to something that's happening in your gut.
100%.
And instead of addressing that, it's like, well, let me take some medication instead, or let me apply this balm, which is maybe just a Band-Aid on a bullet hole most of the times. Accutane could be kind of one of those scenarios too.
That's like such a sad thing that I've kind of figured out about doctors and big pharma. It's like, that's the information that they need. It all has to do with the gut. It's like, this problem's happening. Let's break down. Let's go to the bare bones of like what your life is like, and let's build it up in a healthy way, and let's see if the problem goes away. I guarantee it will.
Yeah,
but
100%.
But that's not profitable.
Did y'all ever have like a big breakout period where you had a lot of acne?
I did.
It was probably around like what, high school?
Yeah, I did definitely. And then looking back on it, it's like, yeah, I was eating like shit.
Yeah.
Sprites and
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I was literally eating out
chips.
I think I ate when I was in high school. Me and my buddies would go out to Chick-fil-A every single day for lunch. Yeah. And then after practice, we had a plug at CC's that got us in for free. Shout out the Sheltons.
Shut up.
And we'd go eat CC's before we'd go home and eat dinner. And you're an athlete, you're sweating all day, you got a helmet on. Yeah, you combine that with a terrible diet, dude. It was...
Yeah, it's going to be volcano central over on your face.
And then I know people, like, personally that were on Accutane, and, like, theirs was really bad. And it's like, again, that point you made, Jack, of, addressing the underlying issues of not even, like, the gut. Just the first thing you need to address is, okay, what does your diet look like? Instead of, I don't know what doctors ask, but I feel like that's not something that's talked about a lot.
Yeah, it's like the doctor wants to solve the symptom.
It's like, what is
it's correct.
How fast can I diagnose you and get you medicine and get you out of here?
Yeah.
Facts.
But yeah, like you said, like the girls, I feel like the girls that don't like are fasting and all this stuff thinking it's going to make them skinnier. It actually probably does the opposite, right? Because you're putting your body in the fight or flight state. When you're not having food, your body's like freaking out what's going on. And then it holds on to fat. It's like we're in death situation. Keep all this fat because we're starving right now.
Ben, I want to ask you this. I don't know if this is true. I learned this in school. If your body doesn't have any like accessible proteins or carbs or fats like ready to use for exercise, don't they go to your lipid storage, like your fat that you have stored already in your body, and uses that as energy? That's what I learned.
I mean, I think it's a little bit more complex than that. Typically, like if someone is like reaching that stage of where they're fasting, depending on if someone's doing like carnivore or keto, the body's going to be using ketones, or the glycogen stored within the muscle cell is typically like the most accessible fuel source.
Because that's what I've heard. The reason people fast is they want to tap into that lipid storage, that fat storage that you're holding on to in your body. And you want to use that as your energy. And so you technically burn fat. I don't know how true that is. But
that's interesting.
There's a lot of things that have to take place in order for someone to get into that. Because at the end of the day, like the most simplistic way of losing fat is like the calories in, calories out method. And so obviously, like if you go to McDonald's and eat 5 cheeseburgers, and that's still 2,000 calories, and then you get 2,100 calories here at home eating 3 different meals, good quality.
Yeah, it's a difference.
Obviously, the nutrition profile is different, but the calories are going to be less.
Yeah.
And so, it depends on someone's stress. It depends on their water. It depends on how much muscle mass they already have. Nutrition is so complex, and it's also so personalized. And so something that works for me may not work for you, may not work for you. So you got to kind of do like this self-experimentation and just figure out like, how is my body responding to the things that I'm putting it through? Sleep is a huge thing. Oh, yeah. You'd be surprised how many people don't drink fucking water. Yeah. And it's like you're trying to lose weight and like you're not even drinking water. And I messaged one of my clients this weekend, yesterday, and she's kind of getting started and trying to build this momentum. And a lot of times people work really hard Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, and it's like, Fridays I get a release. I can eat something I maybe shouldn't be eating or drink something I shouldn't be eating. Saturday, Sunday is 28.5% of the week. 28.5%.
Not small.
Like if you throw Saturday and Sunday out, you're starting at a 72. Like how do you expect yourself to achieve what you want in any realm?
Yeah. That's the part.
Reach that full potential.
Yeah, you'll never get there if you're. And that's the other thing. It's like, Monday and Wednesday I ate really good, but Tuesday and Thursday I didn't eat at all. It's like you can't have this yo-yo back and forth and expect stabilization. Like it has to be, even if you're doing the wrong thing consistently, you're going to get an answer and it'll help you going through it the next time. But if you're constantly in this up and down, up and down, up and down, the parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system is going to be fucked up.
Yeah.
Like everything goes out the window. And so consistency, long-term consistency is the best way.
I agree. That's the yo-yo effect's so true, especially with sleep too.
Yeah.
Like your circadian rhythms, just like keeping your body nice and steady, because any up and down is going to affect your hormones and the whole deal. Johnny did ask about growing your own veggies.
Yeah.
And I thought that was something we could talk about. Just because I don't eat a lot of vegetables, just straight up, based on the fact that they're all sprayed with pesticides.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat pesticides, man. And plants have defense chemicals. Have you heard of those?
Yeah.
And dude,
phytotoxins.
I don't want any of that.
I can't remember. I might have told both of you guys this. Is it Kash Patel? Is that the FBI director's?
Oh.
So
we gotta talk about that.
Yeah, I listened to that podcast, and it was very informative, great podcast. But he mentioned something about, there was a term for it, but it's basically another form of a terrorist who, enters the country, starts growing their own produce, maybe has their own cattle, whatever it might be. But he or she is, intentionally poisoning the food that they're
Holy
selling,
shit.
in hopes of killing these people and getting them sick by eating their food. And some form of terrorism is how he described it. But it's crazy to think that
agro-terrorism. Yeah.
And it's like, I've never heard that term. And it's like, that probably happens a lot more than we think.
I heard about that.
These 2 Chinese people were arrested last week for entering the United States with this this fungus. They smuggled this fungus, and it says they classified it as potential agro-terrorism.
What?
They were citizens of China. They received government funding for the research at the University of Michigan. And she said her membership and loyalty is to the Chinese Communist Party.
We don't want you.
Yeah.
No offense.
So
we
they brought
really
in,
don't want you here.
And that's happened a few different times where people are bringing in stuff. And that's why you can't, certain countries, like, you can't travel with certain goods and travel with certain plants and soils and whatever, because, like, it can lead to disruption. So, like, imagine they get through the United States and they, go to some farm or some food plant and infect all that stuff. Like, millions of people lives are in jeopardy.
There was
food supplies cut off, it's damaged, and then people starving. And then if you don't have food for anyone, I mean, that's how chaos happens on the street.
I wonder if that's what their intention was when they did that.
I would say so.
Scary stuff. But there was a story a couple of years ago where this guy got arrested because he was in a grocery store, and I think he was putting needles in, like, the strawberries.
What?
Yeah, he was arrested.
How
like
about
a
the people
psychopath.
that would lick the Bluebell? Remember that trend?
God.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that's like
idiots.
a huge crime.
Yeah,
like, you're gonna serve at least 20 years.
you should.
Yes.
For licking
you
a
should
Bluebell?
be on the death
I
penalty.
think they consider that like some type of
Bioterrorism?
Yeah, well, that stems back from like the Tylenol case.
Tell us.
Have you ever heard about that?
No, what's the Tylenol?
The Tylenol Chicago murders, I think. So the Chicago Tylenol murders were a series of poisoning deaths resulting from drug tampering in the Chicago metropolitan area in 1982. People were going into these stores and lacing the Tylenol capsules with potassium cyanide.
Jeez.
7 people were killed initially, and they found more to potentially die from consuming this stuff, which is just awful. And you kind of, that is scary to think about when you go to the store sometimes, and it's like, people are touching things or sneezing on things.
Yeah, there's
just like, damn, it's kind of, a lot of y'all are fucking nasty. But I do want to talk about the Kash Patel thing, because
let's do it, man.
Yeah,
FBI director Kash Patel, he, campaigned on the fact that he's going to bring the answers that the American people want. We want to know about Epstein. We want to know, like, what are these politicians doing? We want to know about the blackmail stuff. And now he's been in office for about 6 months, Crickets.
And just the way that
he said
I feel
about like 100 days on the podcast.
Yeah, he had to get appointed.
Yeah.
He was probably nominated 6 months ago whenever Trump took over office, but had to go through like the hearing the same way.
Okay, so only 100 days. All right, we'll give him a
Maybe.
little bit of leeway on that.
But yeah, you watch that and you're like, man, you just look like a fucking liar.
I don't believe him at all.
Dude, I felt the exact opposite. Maybe I don't have as much of a background knowledge on him as you guys might, but listening to the podcast, I was like, man, like, I feel good. Like, I feel like he's, I mean, it's all just words at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, he could be fucking lying. I don't know. But the way he was describing things and, you know, how he had to, the last administration wasn't helping him out at all. And the things that he, you know, found out about, you know, how government officials were corrupt and he exposed them and nobody believed him and all this stuff. It's like, I want to believe in this guy because he's trying to uncover the truth and expose these terrible people that are ruining all these experiences for us. And it's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if he's right or wrong, but.
Well, let's go back a little bit because he was on the case that pretty much found out that the Russia, Trump's a Russian asset, found out that was a hoax based on false information that was given to the FBI that they then leaked to the media that's saying, oh, Trump's a Russian asset, blah, blah, blah. They go crazy on that. And then when they're investigating it, they use those same media reports in their investigation. So it's like a circular, like, we fucking hate Trump. Let's kill him. Let's get him, implicated in this circular method. And so he actually found that out, apparently. He was the lead guy on that. So he's done good work. I like Cash. Don't get me wrong.
But I think it's like I won't trust him until he puts this out. Like, this is like you can sweet talk us and tell us about all this, but like these two things with the sex trafficking and the Epstein list and all that, and the flight logs, whatever. That's priority number one. Yeah. And it's just...
It's not, though, for them.
There was, like, this pompous behavior that he had on... He was like... He didn't really answer some of these questions, like, straight up. He was like, Joe. He's like, do you think I would hold things? Like, the way he would just... He was kind of throwing out a word salad. I was like, I don't know if I like the delivery of this, and it just didn't seem super authentic. And maybe he's kind of handcuffed from just not being able to release some of this information yet, which is a reality too. Maybe. But
I mean, how often do you hear about an FBI director going on a podcast though, and kind of airing out some things like that?
Never.
Or a fucking presidential nominee with Trump.
I mean, it's crazy.
And Elon. I mean, just some of the biggest people in human history.
Okay, so I think that's overall a good thing because podcasts, it's just unfiltered, 3 hours. But like back in the day, those same things are happening on like the number one media source, which was like the late night news.
The late night shows.
So they're just trying to get the message out to the biggest audience. And it's a little bit harder to lie in 3 hours versus to lie in like a 5-minute segment on TV. 100%. But he said that Epstein killed himself, right? And he was unaware that the cameras were out. And he was unaware of.
But he didn't answer that.
Yeah, he was kind of just avoiding a lot of that.
He's like, you'll see we'll give you everything we have. And Joe's like, were the guards asleep? And he's like, guards fall asleep sometimes.
Yeah, it's the night shift.
Like, that's not the answer that we're looking for.
But also, it's like...
Yeah, there's probably a deeper answer there. He's the fucking FBI director.
There's video, but then the cameras weren't there.
So yeah, that's what's so weird. It's like... I had honestly kind of forgotten about that whole thing with Epstein of him supposedly killing himself. And I didn't even... Until I listened to the podcast, I didn't even realize that the guards... it's like out of a fucking movie. The guards fell asleep. Oh, the cameras were out for the time he hung himself. It's like,
it's too big of a coincidence. It's too big.
It doesn't make any sense.
And that guy, they're saying he's actually still alive. And he's that powerful, he's able to Houdini out of there. I mean, that's likely. I'm not saying it's not.
I mean, what if Trump
had to
said to Bongino and Patel, like, hey, we're telling everyone he killed himself. Maybe while they're still trying to find the answers.
We'll never know.
Yeah. They're still trying to find... Maybe they don't want the other people who maybe were responsible for it or the ones who were involved to, like, oh, they said he killed himself. We don't have to run anymore. Yeah. And they're secretly still, trying to catch him. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the main problem I had, I can give that. He could kill himself. Like, a lot of people probably wanted him dead because all the dirt he had on other people. They want to put a hit on him because they don't want him to talk about what they were doing, right? But when he said, don't you think if there was video of people committing these acts, we would release them to Joe? And it's like, if you have the videos, but the problem is that Pam Bondi said there's 10,000s videos of this stuff happening, like 2 weeks before that.
Yeah.
So he's literally contradicting his own FBI Attorney General, Pam Bondi. So that part, is such a big contradiction. I'm like, dude, I don't believe what you're saying anymore.
Yeah, and that's thanks to Project Veritas.
James O'Keefe, man.
Yeah, he kind of forced her hand to put that out there. It's like, hey, we heard you on the hot mic.
What did that lady say? She said there's tens of thousands of videos
in a restaurant.
Of
she was
child
talking to like her
exploitation
maid.
Stuff.
Because I think Cash said on the podcast there's not videos of any of that stuff. Like, he mentioned something, I kind of remembering it, but he said something along like, it's not something that you'd want to see. Like, it's nothing.
Yeah,
that's not up for you to decide though. Like,
yeah,
it's not up for you to decide.
He thinks that, I guess it's not interesting enough or something. I don't know, but he was like, I guess that podcast was the first time I guess I heard him speak in like a setting like that, and it was just, I don't know, he's kind of a hard guy to, because it's all like FBI stuff, it's all just hearsay. It's like, all right, you're saying this, I've heard it differently from other sources. It's like, you're in this position of power, you're supposed to protect me, the American.
Yeah.
Like, I want to believe you. Like, why wouldn't I?
It's bad, man. I think, and then he's like, we don't want to victimize the women again.
Yeah, he
did
say something.
No one wants to watch these videos, bro. Like, just arrest the people.
Yeah.
But there's something that's happening, and they might be threatened right now. Him and Bongino, the way they act in those videos.
Yeah.
Bongino looks... Every time I see Castrotel, he looks like he saw a ghost. His eyes are like...
Yeah, and I listened to Bongino a lot before when he was just doing his podcast.
Yeah.
And, like, you would listen to him and, like, that guy fucking loves
Let's
America.
go.
Like, fights for America. And then, you watch that video, and I think they played it on PBD when James O'Keefe was there, and he's just like... The body language looks weird.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look natural. It looks like they know something, but they're having to tell the opposite.
Yeah, but think about all the secrets that you know being in that position.
There shouldn't be any more secrets.
Dude, come on.
Well,
no secrets?
There's
so much stuff going on that we'll never know about.
Epstein's network, all the stuff that he was an asset for... Israel's Mossad, or he was a CIA asset.
And that's what Ghislaine Maxwell's father said about him.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, her father was a huge bureaucrat, political figure, rich millionaire, and then, the submarine stuff. She's on board. I mean,
so
and then the one that one of the victims killed herself like 2 months ago, and she said, "I'm not suicidal." And it's like no one's talking about that.
Yeah.
We need answers.
I think also the person who's prosecuting, that prosecuted Ghislaine and Jeffrey is James Comey's daughter, who's the same person.
The former FBI director?
Former FBI director James Comey's daughter is prosecuting Ghislaine and Jeffrey, who's already done it. And she's now prosecuting Diddy.
What the hell? Why?
'Cause she's...
James Comey...
was
against America.
He's the one who posted the
8647.
Yeah.
And I saw something else from Libs of TikTok. They posted one of these professors that went to a White House tour with their students and other teachers, and she was wearing an 8647 shirt, and they fired her.
Yeah, good.
So for those of you who haven't worked in restaurant industry, 86 is like the universal, like, we're out. We got nothing left. There's no more.
Throw it out.
And so they're saying, like, 86, kill 47, pretty much. Get out 47.
The former FBI director, James Comey?
Who?
The guy who posted the picture.
Yeah, he did on the beach, and then
Yeah.
was like, I didn't know what that meant. I was like, shut up, bitch.
It's like calling
Like, fight me right now.
Yeah, calling for the death of a president. That's crazy.
Dude, and they already tried to... We don't have to get into that.
All right, there's one thing that I saw about raw milk, so I got to bring it up. Okay, so this tweet says Rothschild's forced milk pasteurization. Pasteurization removes lactoferrin. Do some research and tell us what lactoferrin does, which lactoferrin is a protein in milk, especially colostrum, known for binding iron. It supports immunity, fights bacteria and viruses, promotes gut health, and may reduce inflammation. Pasteurization reduces lactoferrin by 20 to 50%. Coincidence?
I talked to a doctor the
Strategic.
other day.
Really?
A young kid who drinks like a gallon of milk a day. It's like probably maybe a freshman in college. And I was like, you ever drink raw milk? And he's like, hell no. I was like, why? He's like, I'm in nursing or med school. He's like, that's like so dangerous. He's like, I've worked on a farm, and my grandfather owns a farm, and he doesn't even drink that stuff. And so we were just kind of going back and forth for a little bit, and yeah, he's indoctrinated. He's done.
I don't believe anything he says now. No, it's crazy because you ever sit back and think like, wow, why do I think this way? Some people think completely different than how we might think on certain things, and we think we're right. Just gotta trust your gut. Your gut health's gotta be good though.
It does.
Thanks.
He also had a lot of acne, so maybe he should drink some raw milk.
Yeah, I don't believe.
He's out of him on there.
Yeah. What's his name?
He's ugly.
Men's Mental Health Month. I guess here's a question. Do men need to open up more or just be challenged side by side?
Dude.
You know what I'm saying?
What
Like,
do you mean challenge side by side?
like hold your brother accountable. Like, we don't got to go super deep, but like, let's all just, have you worked out
I
today?
think a hybrid of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A hybrid of that. I don't think, it kind of goes into the whole therapy conversation. Like, it's been proven that talking about your problems does not help your problems. And
Yeah, I've heard that before.
And so it's like, I think the therapy world is a little bit more female dominated potentially. I don't know like the numbers on all that, but I would just assume more women are going to therapy than men are.
Yeah.
If you have someone, if we're just talking about the negative all the time and rehashing the negative, like you're not moving forward from anything.
Yeah.
And
Solution oriented.
Yeah, it's like you gotta forgive and forget. And
yeah, I think sometimes it's important to talk about it though. Like,
the
negative things, kind of just get it out of your head, kind of, voice it a little bit. But I think there definitely needs to be a mixture. I don't think therapy is one size fits all. It's a lot different for everybody. Like, I don't think if I was struggling with something, I'd want to go and sit down with a stranger and talk about my problems in a room like this.
Well, sometimes the stranger is the best because it's like there's no bias, there's no I guess fear of exposure potentially.
This makes me think like maybe you just use ChatGPT.
But then again, it's like, would you consider therapists like medical personnel?
No.
Well, they can.
I wouldn't.
Can they diagnose you with like depression?
Oh, sure they can.
Psychiatrist.
A psychiatrist would. They would like refer you to another.
Like, this guy's depressed.
But that just goes back to,
give him SRIs.
At least the way I'm thinking of it is, it just goes back to like doctors and all those sorts of medical personnel. It's like you go to a therapist. It's like you're talking about your problems, and the therapist might, oh, that's so severe. You might need to, go get on antidepressants.
Well,
and then it's like,
point.
You're trying to diagnose me, and then you're trying to go get me to do something or buy another product to alleviate some of these symptoms.
Yeah.
And I feel like that can happen a lot.
I don't know if all of them are like that. I know Jackson kind of mentioned that a little bit when he was going to see his therapist. He's like, I didn't want to get on medication. And I don't think he did.
No, he said he didn't.
But yeah, there's a lot of people who may use that therapy meeting as a way to get on SSRIs, thinking that that's going to solve their problems.
Oh, that's bad, man. Bad stuff.
And just like any medication, I haven't taken a med other than my allergy medicine, like the Flonase. I don't think I've taken like a pill probably since I was sick back in November. And it's like that should be like a once in a few years, like when you're really sick, hey, I really have to take this medication or this antibiotic or something. And
when I was taking ibuprofen and Tylenol, every 4 to 6 hours
and that fucks your liver up too.
Yeah, it just is like I was down in it. I'm just like, man, like this.
Yeah,
this can't be good for me. But I mean, it helped. Like I needed the medicine. I wasn't gonna.
But do you think, in hindsight, and this is always like the conversation I have with myself when I get sick, in hindsight, could you have been like, man, there's probably some healthier, natural things I could have done instead?
No.
Like, how do you think you could have prevented your sickness?
I don't know. I don't know how I got sick entirely, but it always stems from, it's like a how you say that? Cumulative of all these different things. And so stress, I had a lot of things going on that week, and then people I was around were a little sick too. And so,
maybe
you're tired.
Alcohol, maybe a little bad sleep.
Yeah.
Bad food.
It all combines into one thing, but yeah, it is kind of annoying when you're sick. You're just like, how could you feel like your body's failing you. And it's just very frustrating. But I definitely needed to get on the medicine because, I mean, I don't know a natural thing that could have helped with my throat pain.
Yeah, I think like...
And I tried it.
Yeah, it got you better. But the problem, I had it a couple times where I got sick, and then, now looking back on it, it's like I was really stressed out.
Yeah.
My rhythm was off, and all that will really contribute to it. Because even, like, you think about the placebo effect.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, if you believe that you're going to you take, like, a random pill, a salt pill or whatever, and think it's going to help you, it will. It's, like, proven.
Yeah, it is proven.
Which is absolutely insane.
The power of the mind.
Power of the mind, man.
Here's an interesting question, and I've asked people this a few times. So if you could go back to college, or just even now, you get to take any course you want. It literally can be on anything. You can take a course you want, and you can teach a course that you want. What would it be? I already have my answers because me and Mickey were talking about this last night.
Take and teach.
It could be like, I want to learn more about... I mean, it literally could be anything.
I would love to take a course on religion and culture, like how different religions and their cultures interact together, like what Christianity has for the West versus Islam for the East, and radical jihad and all that stuff, and their culture, and then China and Buddhism. Yeah. I would love to take a class on that.
It's like religious sociology.
Yes, that would be really interesting. And then teaching a class, I don't know anything, so what do you think?
I think, similar to you, like a world cultures class or a sociology class, something like that. Just trying to understand different perspectives and lifestyles would be good. Or like I took a few nutrition classes, and I really enjoyed them. It opened up my mind to a lot of things.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
And it was just a cool class.
Yeah.
But yeah, teach, I don't know, like a exercise class or something.
Yeah. I would teach, like, I don't know much about it. I think I know a lot, but I would like to teach like a NBA roster construction class.
Yeah, you could.
That would just be fun.
Class?
I'm making it.
I'm saying you can make anything.
Oh, make any? Okay.
Because mine was, if I wanted to teach a class, and I don't want this to come off cocky, but it would be like,
oh God,
like how to become the most interesting person in the room, like psychology, human behavior, conversation, just all the things that you walk into a party and it's like, okay, how can I become
the most interesting,
the one that, like, when people leave, like, man, that guy was cool, or it was interesting.
I'd sign up for that.
Yeah. And then
mine would be called Failure to Success 101.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
What was the one I wanted to take? Oh, I would like to take like an alternative medicine. Like it would be called like healing from Mother Nature.
That'd be
And
cool.
it's like everything from plant medicines to food. It's like all that stuff. I feel like would be so interesting.
Listening to the last podcast you guys did with Jackson and him kind of talking about plant, just even like hearing plant medicine is just like, it's like, wow, there's just a whole nother realm of medicine that, you know.
Yeah, billions of species of things that can affect us and heal us in many different ways.
And our society only knows pills and...
That's
pills
the
and
money,
booze.
the money-making ones.
Pills, booze, and sex. Sin City.
This dude's unhinged.
We need to have Jackson on for another episode.
Yeah.
We barely scratched the surface of his experiences, but you guys want to wrap it up? An hour or 10 minutes?
Oh, really? Already?
Yeah.
It's gone by pretty fast.
Kind of hit a little flow state there for a sec.
Yeah, I feel like there's some
Love hitting that flow
more
state.
good things we can talk about.
Yeah.
What's kind of on the horizon here?
What's on the horizon?
I mean, for us?
Okay, here's something funny. I mean, I know we talked about it yesterday, but like, what's like the worst thing that you can do in a restaurant? Like besides like spill a drink or spill your food.
So worst thing you can do
shoot up the restaurant?
Someone who's
as
going
a customer,
to eat, as a customer?
you're a customer.
Not tipping's pretty disrespectful.
Nah, dude, I disagree.
Like, I wonder what it's like. You get up, the server picks up the bill. It's like $0.
Have you ever
Like,
been
what
a
are they
server,
saying?
though?
I've never been a server.
Yeah.
See, I have been.
Have you gotten
me and
those
Cal have been.
0 tips?
Yes, that happens to everybody. You got to earn your tip.
Yeah, I've been stiffed many times by a certain
if a server
type of person.
If a server comes up to you like, and they're just bad service, it's not busy, you know, they take forever to bring out your stuff or whatever it might be, like, no, I'm not going to tip you 20%. You might get 0 or you might get $1. Like,
Have you done that before?
Yeah.
You didn't feel bad?
No, not at all. Why should I'm paying to go out to eat.
Yeah.
I'm already paying this fee. Like, I shouldn't have to tip you another $20 fucking dollars.
Hey, fair game.
For you to do your job.
Yeah, I feel like the American
tipping society
has like put the burden on the consumer to pay the bills for the employees.
Dude, I went to
should be
Smoothie
the
King the other
opposite.
day. It took like 30 seconds for me to get my order, and they turned the iPad around. It's like 15, 20, or 15, 18, 20%. It's like, leave a tip, question mark? I'm like, for what?
Yeah.
They do that at Dutch Bros too.
I mean, I tip it.
And they're like,
tip.
I swear when they turn it around, they're like looking at what you do, and
yeah.
they're even. I went out to Pluckers. God, it sounds like I'm a fat ass.
Yeah.
Probably why I was sick.
Gut health over here.
Went out to Pluckers
After the holy macaroni.
And, yeah, a lot of these. Ben had one, so I'm out.
It was good.
Cal
had 3 though.
No, I had 2. I gave one to Chad. But what these servers or these restaurants are doing now is they have like this device that you can pay out like right there, and they all toast.
Handheld,
Yep.
yeah.
And so they're watching you as you're tipping, and you feel that pressure of like.
No, you got to own that shit.
Yeah, I've gotten better at owning it, but it's like having
stare in
someone
their eyes.
over your shoulder watching you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, how much is he gonna tip? How much? And then you tip 15%. Like, oh.
But here's the other side. It's like if you do a good job, like you'll get your money.
Yeah,
it's like people thinking that they can get by on like a half-assed job and just creating a bad experience for you, and then expecting money on the back end. It's like no,
you gotta.
People can go too far with their hospitality, though.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the Dutch Bros line, and I'm like, I need to get to work. And it's a long line, and then the chick's just having a full-on conversation, smiling, laughing.
Though.
And I'm like, bro, there's 6 cars waiting. Like, enough with the chit-chat.
Well, you shouldn't have picked that place if you're in a rush. Yeah,
it's not coffee.
I've been stiffed serving.
What was that like? Tell me about an experience where you didn't get a tip.
Oh, I mean, and I was a really good server, like or a waiter. You know, attention to detail, good. Yeah, I knew what I was doing. But you also have to read the room. It's like some people, if they're on a date, it's like I don't need to be hovering over them and like interject myself in their evening. And it's like, so you have to understand like when it's time to be a little bit more friendly and have some jokes and maybe have a little bit more conversation versus like just giving people what they came here for and leaving it at that.
True.
Like, so you're going to have the 15% tip and the 18% tip. That's probably going to be like 30-40% of what you get. And then the other is like, okay, I'm going to try to go the extra mile here and, you know, make north of 20% and try to create a good experience for people. But when you get stiffed after doing a good job and like doing everything that you felt like you needed to, like it definitely hurts.
Yeah.
Like you feel disrespected. And then you're like, well, now I served on you for free. And like you just like left. And so I'm also curious like what's going through their mind when they're like leaving. And
yeah,
it
like, made me
fuck this
think
guy.
like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. We ate at this restaurant in Kerrville the other day when I was there. And we were eating outside. And it's like a Saturday night or a Friday night. And this patio, they had turned the lights off outside. So people are like eating in the darkness. And like the server comes up and we're like, hey, like, is there any way you can turn the lights on? And she's like, yeah, like, sure, no problem. Turns them on. Another server comes out, turns them off. And like they're having this fight between keeping the lights on and off.
What?
And like literally me and my friends are like having to use our flashlights to like see what's on the menu, to like see what we're eating. And it's like, you think I'm fucking tipping you after that? Like, no, I didn't tip at all. You get $0. Terrible experience.
Yeah.
They had no more money.
Yeah.
And like the people I was
utilities.
with were like surprised that I wasn't tipping. I was like,
Those are the
am
NPCs.
I an asshole?
No. We went to First Watch 2 Saturdays ago in the morning. It was like 7:30 in the morning. And we went and sat out on the patio. And they had a speaker. We were sitting down. It was quiet. It was nice. Saturday morning, not a lot of people up. And then all of a sudden they turned the speaker on. It's probably like in the corner of the room, so right there.
Yeah.
And they're playing like pop, like blasting like pop music.
Yeah.
At 7:30 in the morning. And I asked the server, I was like, hey, like, is there any chance you can either turn that down or turn it off? Like, it's just really loud.
It's bothering us.
Yeah, it's bothering. And she did it. And it wasn't like a big problem. She's like, yeah, let me go ask. And she came back and it turned off. And I was like super grateful because it added to our experience. And
yeah. And now you're going to get a tip.
I tipped her 25%.
Yeah, there you go.
Very good. Very good.
So it's like you just got to treat your serving on people. That is the relationship.
Yeah.
And so if you're not going to serve on the people that are sitting in front of you, you can't be butthurt when.
Yeah, it's always they're always butthurt that they have to do, like, not everyone, but
Well, it's just like they're pissed that they got to work.
yeah, it's like, sorry, like, that's your job.
Sorry, I need a water.
Yeah.
I need a ranch.
Sorry, I need a to-go box. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like, yeah, you always feel bad. You're like, I'm so sorry, but like, can you get this? It's like
And,
why
like,
am I apologizing?
Yeah, you
for-
shouldn't apologize.
Yeah, I would much rather be the guy that's like asking for more than like the one who's just like, we'll just accept the bad experience because I'm
like-
the one footing the bill.
Yeah.
No,
It's
it's like they get your order completely wrong. You're like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
I like mustard today.
Yeah.
Say if they mess up your order, you're gonna say something, right?
1,000%
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Or
you
if it's like,
soy
hey,
boys.
this just isn't tasting too good.
I haven't had that experience
I
to
went
be
somewhere
honest.
recently and they fucked something up and then they charged me for it. Man, I cannot
or like
remember
when your
where I
food
was.
comes out cold. Dude, that happens. Like, I feel like a lot. Like when I went to B-Dubs, like ate at B-Dubs in person.
Yeah.
Like my wings came out. They were warm when they came out, and then like within 5 minutes of them being out, they're cold.
Yeah, they're sitting up there
It's
in
like,
the heater.
Do I say something? Like, I don't know.
Throw them in the microwave.
But see, as a
30.
server, like when that stuff happens,
Yeah, you're like,
man, fuck that guy.
yeah. And you know that, especially if you were a server. And so it's kind of that fine line you gotta.
You just go back, you throw it in the microwave for 30 seconds,
then you
bring
go.
it back out.
I was gonna say, did y'all ever witness anything? Some people cross the
No.
line.
No, I've
Never.
never seen. I would stop someone if I saw them like
Yeah.
hawking a
That's
loogie.
assault.
Yeah,
That's assault.
That's 20 years in prison.
Yeah, I mean, could be. They find out. Biowarfare.
Agro-terrorism.
No, I mean, I don't think I've seen anything crazy, other than like maybe dropping some food on the ground and people putting it back on a plate.
When I worked at Chicken and Pickle in Grand Prairie, I had to break up a fight between these two moms.
What?
I just like happened to be walking by and I noticed there was some arguing over like something that happened between their two kids, and the parents started arguing. They like were getting in each other's like in their faces, and like naturally like in hindsight
You're like,
I
world
just
star.
walked away and like say like fuck it, like I don't care. Like it has nothing to do with me, but like I broke it up. Like I got in between them. I was like, hey, like we're not doing this, like stop. And I'm like, why? Like I could have she could have like said something to me if that's the wrong person. Like, oh, he touched me. He assaulted me by moving, like, you know, or they start punching on me or something, and it's a whole situation. It's like, nowadays
Stay out of it.
Wouldn't even bat an eye. I would have just kept walking.
If you're working there?
Yeah, I mean, dude,
You did
I'm
the
not
right
breaking
thing.
up a fight.
I think you did the right thing.
Didn't you do some like spot up bouncing sometimes?
Yeah, and funny story with that. You call it bouncing. We were just kind of messing around, but we were all like stationed at different posts throughout the night, and it was getting later in the night, and me and Chad were like buddies. Like you were with a bouncer every time, so it was two of us. And we were like inside, and the way the bar was set up, like on the left-hand side, it's like I'm looking at the bar from the stage almost. The left-hand side is like pool tables and all sorts of stuff where you can hang out over here. And then on the right is like the dance floor, the main bar, like all the open space. And me and Chad like are watching these, like there's a group of people on two different tables, and they're starting to like argue a little bit, get a little hostile. And we're like just kind of like watching it from, you know.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and we're just like, all right, it's starting to progress a little bit. They like get in each other's faces, like these two fat chicks, like get in each other's faces, and we're like, okay, like we're just gonna watch, like we'll see what happens.
You're not doing your job.
Dude, I mean, we got hired that weekend, like anyways. They end up stopping, and then one of the girls turns around like once they like break up and throws her drink at this lady. And then they start going at it, and at that point we intervened. But
and so what, you just each grabbed one?
Yeah, it's just like literally it's like I didn't pick this girl up, but like I'm dragging her away and like holding her back, and she's trying to get by me. I'm like, just stop, like why are you fighting? Like you're at a fucking bar, like you're trying to fight. And like it was this big deal, everybody's looking and watching, and I'm like holding off this 300-pound chick. It's just like,
she's strong. And
then like she calms down, and it's just like me like still like kind of like holding her back, and I'm like, all right.
She's like, get off me.
Yeah,
sweating on you.
Yeah, it's like, all right, that's
those are the days.
Is that what they called the pig pen?
It was in Stephenville, so a lot of pigs down there.
Some big old ladies down there.
Yeah, I miss the days of bouncing, just throwing people down the stairs.
Yeah, you're a little bit
stepping on fingers.
Yeah, that was my first encounter. I kicked someone down the stairs.
God, dude.
That make you feel good?
Yeah.
Feel powerful?
Yeah. Well, guess what he was doing before? He was assaulting a woman.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
Fuck
he
that
deserved.
Dude.
And he was blackout drunk, and it was kind of like a, and I was like, man.
What if he died?
Dude, it was a steep staircase.
I was gonna.
Yeah, you would be.
Cracks his neck.
There's no camera in the stairwell.
We need Morgan and Morgan.
Yeah. Yeah. It is weird. You know, I've never been in a bar fight, like as a patron.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think really if I've ever been in like a back and forth. And I don't, that's just like,
I just feel like
I would be so embarrassed.
You have to be looking for a fight. When I see things like that happening in a bar, I'm embarrassed for those people. It's like, you really can't go out and enjoy yourself and not pick a fight with somebody. Like, what are you doing out there?
It's very low IQ behavior.
It's embarrassing, honestly.
And if I'm ever with friends that are like that, I'm like, I'm never coming out with you
I would never hang out with you. If you're like enticing other people and trying to start shit, it's like, grow up, dude. Like,
do you think that fans that fight at sporting events should receive lifetime bans.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that's
I agree with
super
that.
embarrassing.
I agree. It's just so dangerous. Even like the bar fights, the consequences are so grave.
Yeah, I mean that's how people. I mean,
Yeah,
people die.
It's so
from those.
easy to trip and fall, hit your head on a corner of these things, or
And everyone's drunk. So they're
drunk.
gonna do
and
the most.
People are packing sometimes.
Yeah.
And people are stupid. That's why
Yeah.
you just don't mess with
bad.
random people that are trying to start shit.
Yeah.
Literally
That,
death recipe.
You remember the quarterback C.J. Beathard? Does that name sound familiar?
CJ Beathard. What
I think
team? Let me NFL?
see. Yeah, he played in the NFL.
The Texans, maybe? Sounds like a
Beathard.
shitty
CJ
Texans
Beathard?
quarterback.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, C.J. Beathard. He played for Iowa, and then he was with San Francisco. So I want to make sure, brother.
CJ Beathard.
Yeah, he was. His name was Clay Beathard, and he was stabbed to death at a bar in Nashville. His younger brother.
What?
He was 22 years old.
That's my age.
Yeah, at a
That's
bar in
horrible.
Nashville. And it's just like, dude, like people are just.
Yeah,
people
you
are
can't trust
so
anybody.
Stupid, man.
Yeah.
And that would just be like the worst. I mean, I remember Dad saying this all the time. It's like nothing good happens after midnight, and it's
True.
like, the days of like staying out till 2 or 3 in the morning are definitely behind me. But if you think of when anything's gonna happen, it's gonna be in those late hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Where
and
people are hitting their peak drunk, and they might be pissed off that they didn't get the
feeling a little bit
girl.
more risky.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, fuck this guy.
little
He's
bit
talking
more
to this girl that I want
confrontational.
to talk to.
They feel powerful. They got their bros behind them. Like, oh, he just hit me on the shoulder. Like, who does he think he is?
Yeah, you're walking by and you accidentally tap someone.
Or you tap his girl on accident. Like, why'd you touch her?
My bad.
Dude, I went. Were you with?
Was it me?
There was I don't think you were with me. I think it was Mason and Brandon and Seth. We were at Mother's Ruin in Nashville,
Okay.
the spot, the OG spot.
Yeah.
And you know how like
Threw up in that back
It's
lot.
tight quarters.
it's tight quarters. And when you're walking through like a party and you're like, excuse me, I'm gonna sneak through here.
Let me get by you,
Let me get by. And so like you're kind of like, I don't want to grab anyone's butt. I don't want to grab anyone. So you're like, you're usually just like
Sounds like you do.
it's like hands up, like trying to like shuffle through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're shimmying.
Yeah.
And we were sitting at a table. It was kind of like this, but it was up high. It was a high top table. And I was coming back from the bathroom, and I was trying to get around to sit down where I was. And there was like a group of like 4 girls kind of like standing next to our table. And I had to like get through them to get back to where I was sitting. And I like asked the girl, I kind of like tapped her on the back, was like, hey, I'm going to squeeze through. And her other friend slapped my arm. She's like, don't touch my friend. And I was like, and she's like, we're not hearing that.
What?
Like, you're not going to touch our
my
friend.
God.
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, just trying to get, just trying to get back to my seat. And she like assumed that I was like trying to like assault her friend or get on her friend or something.
Damn.
Yeah. And so I left and I told the guy who I knew was working there. And
Kick her out.
yeah, I think they did kick him out.
Like, benefit of the doubt. Like, why do you think she did that?
well,
There's a lot of girls that are very protective over their girlfriends.
yeah, it was
I
probably
think that's a good
probably
thing.
the girl that was never getting hit on. saying,
Yeah,
like,
she was
Wow.
pissed.
She's not
that
interested.
Yeah. Well, let her speak for herself.
yeah. Sit down over there, Porky.
She's mine.
I don't know though. I mean,
Vape it.
yeah, it's a weird. I mean, the whole, if you really want to study some human psychology, just go sit in a bar
yeah.
sober for weeks. I mean, that's what I was doing. I was watching first dates. You're watching bad interactions. You're watching people just go like blitz drunk.
Yeah.
Watch people high. Watch people make out.
That is crazy.
Leave together in Uber first time. You're seeing all these really interesting interactions, which is, it's cool.
Yeah.
But then you see, the bad side of people fighting and people like
Breakups.
lights are on, but no one's home. Just like, stumbling around.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's kind of, it's like all these different waves of like human emotion and whatnot. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time.
That's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember that one time we were there. I think that was the first time we visited Nashville. That was the time I threw up in the back or whatever. The
had
outside
to puke
area.
and rally.
Yeah.
Oh, the time.
Yeah,
Throwing
it was
up.
a good time, huh?
Hate throwing up. I'm gonna call Nick just see if he answers real quick. See if he can give us an update on world politics real quick. See if he answers. Come on, Nick. Nick's our resident political correspondent. He might not answer.
He's probably getting a workout in right now.
Yeah, he's probably deadlifting.
Yeah.
All right.
Doing some bent over rows.
Last thing, we'll get out of here. Okay, so what's one thing that keeps your mind strong?
Thing that keeps my mind strong.
Your mind strong.
I think I would say like the fear of failure or the fear of not being something I want to be.
Good.
What's yours?
I would say just like having a faith in God and reading the Bible a little bit in the mornings keeps my mind strong.
It's good.
Man.
Ben's going to say Bang energy drink.
No.
Oh, bringing it up. Ben wants to discuss that or no?
No. I'd say probably just showing up.
Mm.
Sometimes you just got to show up.
Yep.
Even when you're not
Consistent.
feeling it. And so, if you can continuously show up, you'll get better. Build the calluses on the mind.
Facts. What about one thing that keeps your body strong?
Sleep for me.
Yeah.
Sleep has been good. It feels so different when you're sleeping good.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I might
When you're
steal
sleeping
that one.
bad, dude, I remember those days of staying up late and having to get up at like 4 or 5, and you're just like waking up, and it's like, how am I gonna make it through this day?
Even like waking up like on 5 hours and you're like, I'm gonna go to the gym. It's like I'm not even gonna get the most out of this workout.
Yeah. When you go to the gym like really early in the morning and you're tired, it's just like it's honestly sucks, but it's like the last place you want to be. Because you're still trying to like wake up and you're not pushing yourself.
It's like I'm gonna throw 315 on my back right now.
Yeah, it's just the motivation isn't there. That's why I don't really like working out that early in the morning. I know some people kind of have to, but I like to have my body naturally wake up and kind of go through things that day, and then I can hit it. And I've heard that your body's the strongest, like exercise wise, like at 5 p.m.
Really?
Yeah. I saw that on a post on Twitter. Could have been fake, but who knows?
Could have been fake news. Yeah, but those morning workouts, you get them done, and you're driving back. And the sun's finally coming up, and you're like, man, I just fucking did this, and people are still sleeping.
Yeah, it feels really good.
It would be funny when we had like 6 a.m. lifts, or when I was at OBU, our lifting times were 5:15, 5:30, and 5:45, and which is the dumbest shit ever. I hate OBU for that specific reason. They ran their strength and conditioning program through Performance Course. You might know what that is, Ben. Basically, it's like our strength and conditioning program was through a side company that just ran like different high school strength and conditionings and all these sorts of things. And our strength coordinators would come in, and it's literally, this was one of our workouts one day. It's 5:15. We wouldn't warm up. Our warm ups were called PAP. And it was just a bunch of BS. And then I'll never forget this. Our first exercise one morning was plate press. And these people who were leading these workouts thought this was ideal to start an exercise with 5 45-pound plates stacked on your chest. And you're supposed to do 8 reps, take a 45 off, 8 reps, 45 off, 8 reps, 45 off. And it's like, literally nobody could do it.
5:45?
Yes.
Holy crap.
It's like, what are we doing? No warm up, and it was just it like having to wake up at 4:45 and you're going to some BS workout. I kid you not, our workouts were like 15 minutes. It's like, all right, time to go back to sleep.
Oh God,
That's so
yeah,
dumb.
that's like malpractice.
Yeah, it's like,
That's
what are we
bad.
doing? And
That's
then
so bad.
same thing, like when I was at UMHB playing, I was in the 6 a.m. weight group, and it's like max week. Like, all right, like let's wake up and go see how much we can power clean.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Kids are drinking energy drinks, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
chugging Monsters. I'm like, God.
I don't know why, dude. I would always sweat so much in those workouts. I mean, we definitely had a way better warm up.
Yeah,
And it's like we had, I don't know how many coaches y'all had, but we probably had
one.
20 staff members there
For
in the
real?
morning. It was
Yeah.
like you'd wake up, you'd go into the locker room. They'd have people in the locker room, get your gear on, and it's like you had to be in uniform. Like everyone had to be in the same, no jewelry, no different socks. If you did that, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so everyone's doing the same. And you go weigh in. They had a scale, and they had someone with a clipboard. You go weigh in, and as soon as you weigh in, you start your little warm up. We just had like these hurdles set up, and we'd go under, over, just like getting the hips and
Yeah.
stuff. And then we'd stand in this room, and Coach True, who was our strength coach, would get up on this platform and just like tell us. He'd tell us about the last workout and the ones who what we call like loaf. Like if you missed a rep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he'd call you out, and it'd be a TV screen, and there'd be like faces on there, and he'd say, after this workout, you got 400 floors on the Stairmaster, or 200 floors on the Stairmaster, because they would
don't
have
play over there.
the
That's
assistants. The
accountability.
assistants would be tracking your reps. So it's like, hey, if you had a set of 8 and you did 7, like they're not going to tell you until the next morning.
Oh.
Which
So
was-
like you might even forgot that you didn't do it or something.
Yeah,
and
and
you
so I
just
was
see your
always
face.
like really concerned of like, I'm just going to do another one just in case.
Yeah, do an extra one. That's
Yeah.
smart.
But it'd be like
400
the first one would be like, hey, we're going to do back squat, 6-second eccentric tempo, squatting onto a med ball. And everyone would start their rep at the same time. So we've got like, 40 power racks.
Beep.
And it would be like, he's like, all right, down, 1. And you'd have to like time it, and then you'd sit for 2 seconds on the ball. And it's like, up. And it's like, ah.
Oh my.
And they had the weights. So like you couldn't adjust your own weights. It was whatever they felt like you were going to do that day. And so
That
if you don't
sounds
get it,
horrible.
yeah, if you don't get it up, I mean, you're like, it is embarrassing.
Sink or
Yeah,
swim.
it is.
Yeah, it's
Very
sink or swim.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the strength and conditioning camp.
Oh yeah.
At Martin.
Yeah, Martin. It's just so intense.
Probably the worst thing, and Cal, I don't know if you ever had this, but like when you're the reason that the team has to do something extra. Dude, and I should not have been
I'm
doing
sure
this
I have, yeah.
because
What
I'm like
happened?
not in that position of like, I'm not a star. I'm a nobody on this team. So like, I should never be the guy that's like,
They're like, what?
yeah. And so we were
This
doing
guy.
a drill, and I was talking to someone behind me while the coach was explaining the drill. And then
That
I
would
turn
piss me
around.
off,
I turn
too.
around, and he's staring at me. He's like, "You got something to say?" He's like, "Spread it out." 25 up downs, and I had that happen once. And then the other time was we're running gassers on the line, the 100-yard field, and everyone had to put their hand down and start at the same time. So you'd have like small skill, big skill
Yeah.
linemen, and so I was big skill, and so it's like they say ready, hands on the line, but it has to be behind the line. And there was a strength coach who I never liked, just never liked him. And he's all the way at the other side of the field, like watching. And so we run the 100. We get all the way down there. He's like, Robinson didn't have his hand down. He's like, we're doing another. And I was like, bullshit. I was like, that's bullshit. Like, my hand was fucking down.
Sometimes
And,
they just do that to kind of mess with your mental too.
yeah. And he knew that I didn't injure my ankle playing football. It was playing basketball.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So I had to lie. I mean,
What'd you
gotta do what
say?
gotta do. I said I was running routes of my own and sprained it, which this was probably the least believable thing that I could have said.
Like it's a bowling ball on your ankle. How'd you do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Good times, though.
Yeah.
Good times. All right.
Call it.
Let's call it.
Call it.
Yeah. Let's call it. Good episode.
Good.